All right, welcome everybody. We are going to go ahead and call this meeting of the Monroe County Substance Use Disorder Awareness Commission, or SUDAC, to order here. Today is June the 21st, noon in the Nat U Hill meeting room. This meeting is in order. The agenda is here, and I don't know if the agenda made it onto the website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that. I don't know if the chat is working here. The chat is turned off for the meeting still. We are having some technical difficulties today, so those of you on Zoom land, I do apologize. But here what I can do is share my screen. And I think that would probably be the best move forward. Just for clarification, Sarah, can you hear our voice?
I'd have a hard time letting us know since the chat
Yeah.
isn't working.
All right. Mr. Hanlon, can you hear my voice?
This is TSD. Your voice is coming through.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Voiles. All right. Let's go ahead and let me share the agenda onto the screen. There we go. All right. We just called this meeting to order. So now we're going to go into our committee reports, and we'll start with the actually, let's, before we begin, are there any changes to today's agenda? There is a resolution that I would like to add to today's agenda. That was sent out by Molly King a little bit ago. Let me, I'm gonna have to stop sharing my screen just to do this.
Where will it go in on the agenda?
Yeah, I'll edit it so that it goes on. So we need to add an additional resolution that we adopted last time, which is reviewing whether only keynote speakers will be reimbursed for travel, and talking about whether it should remain just keynotes or it should be expanded to panelists. Can I have a motion to add this resolution to the agenda?
I'm now second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to add the resolution. You all should have this in your email. Can we have a vote? All those in favor of adding this resolution to the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. Hi, Steve. Excellent. All right. Sarah, I see your hand raised on Teams. All right. Yep. I saw your hands raised. All right. Good. Thank you. All right.
Great.
Let's get back to the agenda here. Let's start with committee reports, and then we'll get into that resolution. The first committee report is the 2024 Educational Summit Committee Report. I know we did not have a meeting this week. I don't know that there's a lot to report other than what you all know. Let's go around the table real quick. Is there anything that we need to know, progress that's been made in the past 2 weeks?
Do we have an event planner yet?
We have one identified, and I believe the commissioner's office is engaged in conversations with that vendor. Ms. Angie Purdy would be the person to talk to.
I guess I did want to say we got the W-9 for agencies for sponsorship that need to submit it through with the W-9 to get their company to write a check. And then I'm helping Erica create those invoices for them and then getting those to the people.
Great, great. And just so everyone knows, we are talking about the 2024 Monroe County Recovery Summit, Building Recovery Through Connections. It's dedicated to the work of Mr. Greg May. That will be Thursday, September the 5th, 2024, downtown here, a couple blocks away at the Monroe County Convention Center. I believe that there is another meeting scheduled for this coming week, but I could be mistaken. So check your calendars for that. And of course, major kudos goes to our prosecutor, Erica Oliphant, for leading this charge. The next committee report, before we get to our resolution and then to Mr. Hanlon's presentation, is from the Opioid Settlement Committee report. I know that deadlines for applications for the first round of opioid settlement funds concludes in 9 days. So if you go to our homepage, if you're an organization or a county department that is working with substance use disorder and you think you might qualify, head over to the application where the qualification materials are much more explicit. And if you do think you qualify, go ahead and apply. I know that we've gotten a number of organizations and departments that have already applied for this round, which is exciting. And we'll hopefully move forward with that. I know the last meeting of this body, we very excitedly announced a new settlement had come in. So funds continue to be readily available. Any questions about that?
I believe that the Board of Commissioners is going to be creating an official committee to be the review group. So it'll be on, try to see if it's on in our packet for next week, but the packet is pretty long. It's 2 parts. We're up to Z here. Double A, double B.
Double B.
Yeah, well, we'll be there.
Holiday. Yeah, double meeting.
On here, so we got to get it added. Okay, it is here. Okay. Done.
It's on Wednesday's agenda.
Yeah.
All right, so if you'd like to hear what the commissioners' thoughts are for this committee that's going to be reviewing those proposals, tune in Wednesday at 10 a.m. On Teams or here.
Item T.
Item T. Excellent. All right, are there any more other questions about the opioid settlement and what we're doing with those funds in this first round? All right, let's head over to our resolution. We have a proposal drafted for let me share this on the screen. Our legal team drafted this for us so that we could be offering these funds to folks that are going to be coming to our summit. And again, apologies that the chat is not working today in Teams. That's why we're doing a little bit of jumping around here. So thank you for your patience. All right, let's blow that up a little bit larger. So folks, this is the resolution that we adopted last time, and changes made by our legal team are down here in red. So we recommended contingent approval by the Monroe County Board of Commissioners that individuals who attend the 2024 Monroe County Recovery Summit for keynote speakers, that's item number 1, we're presenting, they will be reimbursed for travel and lodging expenses. The addition on number 2 in red is that reimbursement will be added to individuals serving as panelists. They'll be reimbursed for travel and lodging and expenses in addition to receiving an honorarium. And then in number 3, it clarifies that in both instances, the honorarium received by the speaker/presenter, that's a typo, is a one-time payment.
That's another typo. It shouldn't be and, it should be a one-time.
That's right. There we go. All right. Any questions or comments about the changes to this resolution before we take a motion?
Not a change to this, but is summit spelled with 1 T throughout the document? Or should it be 2 T's? Both places where it has 2 T's, but just as a typo.
I think it's one, right? Should be one.
On
right?
this, on the Facebook stuff, it's 1 T.
Yeah,
So
I think
assume that's what it's
just
supposed
a
to be,
little typo as well.
but that is me assuming.
All right, so we need to reduce the spelling. Can you hear me? No. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So we need to reduce the spelling of summit down to 1 T throughout the document. All right. Any other thoughts or considerations about any of the changes? All right. Is there a motion to adopt said changes in this document?
I'll make a motion to accept these changes in this document.
We have a motion, a second,
I will second that.
and we have a second. Is there any further conversation here in the Nat U Hill room? Is there any conversation with our colleagues on Teams? Is there any public conversation or comment? Seeing none. All those in favor of amending this document to allow for reimbursement for panelists, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Larson. The ayes have it unanimously. Excellent. Thank you all for your work on that. Now we are going to transition to something a little bit different than we normally do. Remember, we are joined online by Mr. Dustin Hanlon, MSW, LCSW, CCHP, MH, so a very, very qualified social worker, and is joining us to talk about new positions within the jail that the Monroe County Council had approved. So, Mr. Hanlon, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, sir, the floor is yours.
Wonderful. I'd love to just introduce myself briefly, and then I'd love to discuss the positions and open up for any questions that anyone may have. Myself, Dustin Hanlon, as you introduced, I am a regional behavioral health manager for Freedom Behavioral Health, which is the behavioral health division of Advanced Correctional Health Care. They're contracted, and we are contracted with the Monroe County Jail and the Sheriff's Department to provide medical and mental health services. We are throughout 22 states and kind of all over, but I am Indiana born and raised, and so it's always nice to be involved in a community that's close enough to my own home. So we have, and you guys may know some of these things, so if I'm repeating things that you already know, someone speak up. I'd be happy to clarify more. But we have 3 new positions that expanded the service offerings within Monroe County Jail. These 3 positions were a 3rd qualified mental health professional, which is a master's level with a clinical license inside of the county jail. We already had 2 prior hired. We have a discharge planner, and the 3rd position was a substance abuse counselor. Currently, as of today, June 21st, we have the 3rd qualified mental health professional started earlier this week on Monday. And the discharge planner actually started, this was her 3rd week. So we've had the discharge planner hired and in place during that time. I would like to expand and discuss some of the things that we've been able to do, even in this short amount of time, to give you guys some understanding of what that is. And then if you have any questions, please ask. The QMHP itself and the way that it enhances the services within the jail, again, like I said, we have two. However, the acuity of the patients that are inside of the county jail, inside of Monroe County itself, is fairly acute, which means their services are greatly needed. And so adding an additional QMHP has really turned around and will assist with quicker turnarounds for follow-ups with patients who may be in higher need, expansions of group therapy offerings, and then the increased opportunity to follow up with patients on a more regular basis, not just based on need, but also possibly having recurrent and concurrent sessions in future meetings with patients. With the discharge planner, some of the exciting things I'd like to share that have happened thus far is that just in the first week of this happening, we've been able to introduce STI or sexually transmitted infection testing with collaboration with the Hope Resource Center. And 21 people in the last week have actually been able to participate in that. So we've actually garnered quite a bit of support and participation in that program, which is awesome. Connections with New Leaf, New Life, assisting with collaborations for the future. We've been able to connect with the Director of Supportive Housing at Centerstone. And the biggest thing that I would like to see as we move forward is working on bridge prescriptions. Now, what that looks like is having prescriptions provided to continue mental health medication specifically once the inmate is released and returns to the community. This will obviously help with a number of things, but we're very excited for what that might look like. And then also assisting with things like transportation concerns and issues, maybe to medical appointments and otherwise, and getting them connected to community resources to assist with that as they re-enter the community. The third position itself is the substance use counselor position, or substance abuse counselor position, rather. We don't have anyone hired, but I do have several people that have been interviewed, and then we have a new candidate that looks very promising. So very excited about that. But this position itself looks more like an individual counseling, focusing on substance use disorders. This individual will be certified to be able to diagnose substance use disorder as well. And then they will be offering group therapy sessions focused on, and they will be validated treatment modalities as well for substance use therapy. They'll also have a shared responsibility to connect and assist the patient, not stepping on toes. There are other agencies that are inside of the jail that are assisting with some of these things. And within the community itself, we will work in collaboration and tandem with them to make sure that we're getting the patients connected with community treatment and otherwise to make sure that they're getting to the right services once they do leave. So that's the long and short of what we're providing and what we hope to provide with these three positions that we just started recently. I would love to open the floor and answer any questions that you guys may have about these three positions.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Hanlon, for taking the time to be here today and to walk through some of those things with us. That was quite thorough. Are there any questions for Mr. Hanlon? Yeah, Steve. And if you could introduce yourself as he may not know who you are.
Steve Malone with probation, problem solving courts. Thank you for what you're doing. You mentioned something about the substance use counselor, and I think did you mention IOP in the jail? Is that correct, or counseling in the jail?
We will do counseling in the jail. We're already doing counseling in the jail, absolutely. But it wouldn't be, I mean, it would be IOP, I guess technically, but it wouldn't be at the same time. So we will be offering services inside of the jail. We already are with the qualified mental health professionals, obviously. But once we hire the substance abuse counselor, it would be more from a referral basis and or patient request. Does that make sense?
Are you going to do, like, I think you said group settings? Will you be doing group settings or individual?
Both.
Okay. And are you going to limit the number of individuals in a group setting? Is there going to be a waiting list? Or have
There will certainly be a waiting list. I think that for a group to be very productive, typically you cap out the number of participants. I would be open to discussion and suggestion, but I wouldn't have a group much larger than 20 people. I think that that's even excessive. Most likely 10 to 15 people is a very good number for groups. But we would have the offerings hopefully throughout different days in the week.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, Ashley Collins with Centerstone. Do you know what group, like curriculum, you'll be using?
A lot of the current curriculum comes from Hazeldale, and so I know that they'll certainly be utilizing some of that. However, we're open to opportunities and other alternative options as long as they are validated instruments and validated group therapy session curriculums.
So this is Monroe County Commissioner Penny Githens. First of all, thank you for being there. I don't know if this is accurate, but I think at one point I was recently told that average length of stay in the jail is 7 days, so that doesn't necessarily give you very long to work with some of the individuals who come through. Is that going to be a barrier?
I think length of stay is always something that we're aware of and certainly trying to battle with, I guess you could say, for sure. I can see that being a barrier, but I also think that with the addition of these 3 individuals, in addition, again, like we already have the 2 qualified mental health professionals that are there, it'll help assist with that. But I could certainly see that being a barrier. That being said, I think once we get the process down for the discharge planner specifically, I think that there are certain things that they'll be able to provide and assist with. And I can't speak to the exact length of stay, but I wouldn't doubt that you're absolutely right on the 7 days.
And I just want to clarify that those watching online or attending this meeting, simply raise your hand and you can ask questions as well. We welcome any public comment at this point. So my question is on the discharge planner. You said that this person's been there for 3 weeks?
This is the 3rd week, yes.
Yeah. And you listed a series of things they've already been doing. Are there additional items that they're going to be completing into the future that will expand their role? Or are you presuming that this individual will continue to do the STI testing and working with community agencies?
So I think in the very beginning, we felt it really important as we're beginning to build this from the ground up. Obviously, this is a brand new position for the jail and for, ultimately the community. We really wanted to make sure we were working on those handoffs, right? Those soft and warm handoffs to community agencies and establishing those connections. So that's what we were upfront working on. But the process for what this discharge planner may be doing really depends on the need for the individuals inside of the jail itself. I think that we will take that and tackle that as it comes, but there's certainly been no shortage of referrals for her and how busy she's been recently, truthfully.
Oh, so the discharge planner is based on a referral system?
Currently it is. The referral itself can be from many sources, but that referral source could be honestly, it could be from an outside individual. So you could have somebody from probation call in and ask them to meet with them, as long as there's those connections. But I'm thinking more so the patient themselves requested to speak with them. Our qualified mental health professionals that are providing screening interviews once the inmates do come into the jail could also refer them, as we're one team. Medical, who obviously is meeting with each of the inmates as they come through. Typically, they have a 14-day assessment. That being said, they meet with them prior to that if the needs are there. And then also staff themselves can refer them to our discharge planner as well.
Okay, so the QMHPs are doing that initial screening once one is brought into the facility, and then those referrals can happen from there.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, great. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
If there's a time, this is Ashley again, if there's a time when like an outside organization like Centerstone or anyone else is working with the client who is in jail, and there's sometimes where they reach out to us about getting paperwork or applications in, is there a good way to get a hold of the discharge planner, or do we do that through you, Dustin?
I've been working on this. We have other jails that have a discharge planner, and we've been able to make the direct connections with the discharge planner, and I think that that's acceptable. In this situation, I'll probably defer to the county jail and ask them what their preference is for some of that. But then also I will work on getting this connection so that we can work on that as well. I think a release of information is all we truly need in order for that to be facilitated, though.
So it sounds like community organizations can work with our jail commander, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, but as long as we have a release of information, we also we'll be able to do so. That's not a problem.
Great. Hold on, wait a second. The mics are a little slow today.
You can hear me now? All right. So when we're trying to, I lost my thought now. Sorry, I'll come back.
Dustin, do you have other facilities in the state that also have a substance use individual or a position?
Not in Indiana, but I do in Illinois, and multiple. I have several in Illinois. Yes.
And the scope of their work is similar to what you've outlined today. Is that right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Any other questions online or here in the room?
I will like to, I'll kind of expand a little bit really briefly. I forgot to mention with the substance use counselor, some of the future could also be exciting if the jail and if the community or the sheriff's department endorses any type of medication assisted treatment in the future, as you do look at that being a requirement to have education and therapy pieces and components. We would already have a substance use counselor in place if that were to be something that were ever a part of the future for the sheriff's department and the county jail itself.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm probably preaching to the choir, but I just wanted to make sure that you knew that was available and that would be in place.
I remember what my question was now. So in terms of releases of information, I really like gathering releases of information from my community partners. So, because it can be a barrier, because like, let's say they're at the jail and they sign a release for you, but then they also need to sign a release for Centerstone. But if I have the jails and Centerstones at the same time, I can fill them all out and then send them to you. Is there a way that I can get our Centerstone release of information to you?
Yeah, absolutely. My email is the best way to likely contact me. It's my first name, period, last name. So Dustin, period, Hanlon, Hanlin. I think it's on the board, but I'm not certain. And then it's at freedom-bh, as in behavioral health.com.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
And I do believe that Dustin was CC'd on the announcement that Molly Turner King sent out. So you should be able to get that email there. If not there, it'll be in the minutes, or you can contact me, and I've got it too.
My name is Melanie Vesledge. I'm with the health department. I was wondering, when you were talking about MAT, what types of MAT are provided in other places that you are using MAT in the correctional facility?
Yeah, absolutely. I can speak briefly to MAT. I myself am not entirely involved in it. Obviously, I will hire and have substance abuse counselors to assist with it, but our medical partners would be the ones that to do a lot of the other pieces of it. Some of the big pieces that need to be in place is obviously, as it is a controlled substance, oftentimes you have to have a doctor that has a DEA, and there are some things of that nature. But essentially, they've been able to utilize Suboxone, and that could be obviously the form that's the strips, but also they can have it in other forms as well. So it just depends on what the jail's need is there. But I do have jails in Illinois that currently have MAT in place, and they're utilizing that. And they're in the beginning stages currently in one of my jails, which is they will continue the MAT that they were on in the community prior to coming in, but they won't initiate that MAT inside of the jail at this time, but they're looking at beginning to start that in the future.
Just talk.
Okay, now. So if you're talking about folks that are on MAT before coming in, so a person who's on methadone, for example, how would you work with that?
Yep. So I've seen them continue methadone inside of the jail. A lot of it really requires a strict process, right? A strict process in regards to the liability, the concern of the specific medications that it is with methadone specifically as well that can come with a pretty high risk inside of a jail. But that being said, as long as there are processes and policies in place within the jail, I've seen them be able to do that.
All right. Well, I think that exhausts our questions for now, but we will certainly make sure your email is available to members of this commission, and I presume that you'll be getting much more detailed questions that way too. So thank you for your time. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity. We're excited about this expansion. I look forward to speaking to you guys in the future. I welcome all emails and we'll be happy to converse and communicate with you.
I have one more question if I'm able to. I'm
Oh,
so sorry.
sure.
It's not specific to MAT, but you were talking about STI testing. Are you also doing treatment for that? And is there any HIV or hepatitis C testing?
So I would have to get with our medical partners to find out exactly how they're addressing those currently. If an individual has an active STI and they need treated, then they would be treated by the medical partners. If there were adverse side effects, certainly. As we have a medical partner inside of the jail, which means we have a nurse practitioner, a provider, and then nurses as well. In regards to Hep C, I can't speak to that without getting the information myself. I'd have to find out for sure, but I could find out for you.
Thank you. Yeah, we have disease intervention specialists across the street if you need them for anything. So thanks.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so very much. Let's go ahead and move on with our agenda. The next thing that I have is item number 4, which is an update on IRACs. Commissioner Githens, do we have an update at this point?
I don't, sorry. I am waiting to hear back from Mr. Whitaker.
Sure. All right, let's then move on to the community health assessment update at the health department. What do we need to know?
Our focus groups have wrapped up. We've extended the actual survey until Sunday. So this is Sunday, June the 23rd at 11:59. So you can find the link. It's the same link as last time. We also posted it on our Facebook page yesterday, I think 16 or so hours ago. And then be on the lookout for any, the published assessment, followed by the development of our community health improvement plan work groups moving forward. But yeah, if you know anybody else that would like to participate, we would love some more feedback in the survey. So that's it.
All right, you heard it here. Start following the health department on Facebook and take the survey. All right, I think that takes us to approval of minutes. Did we get? I don't think we had. Do we have minutes to approve today?
Yes.
All right. Are there any changes to the minutes? Everyone's name is spelled correctly. The things that you said are accurate. All right. Once you've looked those over, I will entertain a motion.
Move approval of the minutes for SUDEC for May 17th, 2024.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the minutes. Any other conversation online? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those, thank you, Ms. Larson. All those opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. Thank you all so much. All right, that leads us to number 7 on our agenda. We are blazing through on this wonderful Friday, getting into your weekend. We're going to go around the horn here with member announcements and updates for any items not on the agenda. Let's go ahead and start to my left here. Anything that we need to know about your organization or what you're doing in life?
Let's see. New building is still in process. It's taking longer than we realized, but I also finally completed my exam for certified peer recovery coach, made possible by Penny Githens. And so I'll be quickly going up to the second phase of that and hopefully working within the ROC that IRA will be working with. Thank you. That's all I have. Unless you guys have questions, I might be able to answer.
Great. I was so excited for you.
I don't have a lot to report other than in the child support office, we just had a conference down in French Lick, and one of the speakers was somebody who does a lot of fatherhood, working with fathers, getting them more involved, because unfortunately, most or many of the people who are involved in child support situations are single parent homes, of course, and trying to get fathers more involved. And so we're working on being able to find more resources for people who are having trouble paying. We realize that there are some people who would pay if they could, so we're trying to get them hooked up to whatever services that will help them, including referring them to Centerstone and to recovery services and anything that will help them get back on the right track.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Centerstone, you're busy.
We are.
Holy cow.
Always.
Madam Commissioner.
Last evening at the joint meeting of the Board of Commissioners and the County Council, we talked about additional funding for Courage to Change for some of their housing and possibility of providing up to 2 additional houses for them. So that's in addition to what may or may not be happening through the opioid settlement committee, that with money that we can give out through the opioid settlement. And I feel really, really good about offering additional recovery housing in this community. But we still have to all vote on it formally to make any of these things happen.
We do, but there was a lot of consensus last night. It felt very good.
It
Yeah.
really did. So.
And as a reminder, your meeting is Wednesday, 10 a.m. Item number T. Page 145. Come and see how we're going to. That's right, yeah. Yeah. Great, thank you.
Thank you. I'll just tell you, I love the fact that our CARES board meeting is the night before this meeting every single month. So with my old age, I can remember exactly what we discussed. It's fabulous that I can actually remember this. We had a really good meeting yesterday. We're working on our fall community meeting sometime probably in October, November, where we may be discussing MATs, the availability of MATs in the community. I'm going to get some panelists to speak on that. In addition, we're getting this going a lot sooner. We have the finalization of the appropriation of our CARES grants. It was approved at the meeting last night unanimously.
Excellent.
And I will tell you that I don't know if Ashley wants to say anything else more about this, but the way we go about dispersing the money, allocating it, making sure each category gets exactly what they're supposed to, the formulas in this Excel sheet, I thank God we have somebody else doing that, because my brain cannot handle that. But I believe there's 10 or 11 grantees. Everybody that applied is getting money. And the unfortunate thing is we only have about $35,000 to disperse, but at least everybody is getting something at this point in time based on their application. And it is not a job that we take lightly. As I said, this formula that in the Excel spreadsheet, Lindy, who's stepping off the board soon, and somebody else is going to step on, I don't know how we're going to do this without her. She claims that somebody else there is going to be able to do this. It is an absolute mess is the wrong word. It's difficult. And she tried to explain it. I did understand it a little bit more than I have in the years past. Ashley, is that a fair assumption? Okay.
Yes.
So now the next step is getting that information to the commissioners for approval. We'll get on the county council agenda for the appropriation, and then we'll come back to the commissioners for the disbursement of checks. I'm hopeful that we do that before September of this year, which is what it's been in the past few years, because we have to get our approval from the state of Indiana, the Criminal Justice Institute. We have to get that approval to be able to fund these needed organizations' money. So we'll get that going and get that rocking and rolling. So.
Great, great. Is there still room on the board? Do you need people to sit on the CARES board?
You took the next thing right out of my mouth.
Oh,
Absolutely. No. I'm glad you did. We have a very good board right now. Those that are committed, not that we haven't had in the past, but we have those that are really dedicated to this. We've added a few more seats, or not a few more seats, a few more individuals on the board. We definitely need more. Please reach out to me at co.monroe.in.us with an email if you're interested, and I'll forward your information on to our CARES board coordinator, Lisa Muser.
Excellent.
Thank you for reminding me.
Hey, that's all right. I'm trying to get all the homework straight. So
Thank
take the health survey, apply to be on the CARES board, and if you're an agency, there's quite a bit of money swimming around these days. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Public defender updates, still carrying on. We have 2 current openings in our office. One is for a deputy public defender and one is for a part-time office clerk. Those can both be found on Monroe County's employment job opportunities page on the website. We welcome applicants because we are definitely wanting to be full staffed sooner rather than later. So that's all.
Thank you.
Right. So with Centerstone, we had really big news this past week that we got chosen to be a CCBHC. So that's really exciting because I think it provides a model for us to help people exactly where they are, not dictated by like, this is their level of need, therefore they only get X amount of hours of service. And so we're really, really excited about all the changes to come with that.
Can you tell those at home what that acronym stands for?
Certified Community Behavioral Health Center.
Excellent.
And was this part of the new initiative that Indiana became one of the counties? I just saw a notice about this week.
Yeah, I think
or
they
one of the
picked-
states rather than one
They
of
picked
10.
like 7 states.
Yeah.
And Indiana was one of them. And then out of the people in Indiana, we got picked to be one of the CCBHCs. So we're really, really excited about that. And I'm sure there'll be a lot more updates as we're rolling that all out.
Excellent. Are you still fully staffed in terms of the mobile crisis?
As far as I know, we're still fully staffed right now.
Excellent, excellent. All right. I have 100 more questions, but I think we'll leave for later. What's going on at the health department?
So, okay, the health assessment has taken up a lot of time. I will note that myself and Kathy have participated in providing some feedback for the Bloomington Health Foundation regarding its mental health initiative. So they have information. I checked this morning on bloomhf.org/news. But in general, they're focusing on peer navigators in the community to focus on mental health and having a universal system for tracking and a universal ROI. So from my understanding, there's going to be an RFP that will also be putting some more money into the community. I also saw on social media that there's a kiosk for medication disposal in Ellettsville at their police department at 1406 West Guy McCown Drive. So I updated that on our health department website. If you're looking at our harm reduction section, it's in the Safe Sharps at the very bottom. And I think those are a couple of things. I guess a reminder that we carry fentanyl test strips just like the IRA. But if you need them, you can also go to the overdoselifeline.org.com. Overdose Lifeline. Google it. I don't know. There's probably more things, but I think that's what comes to mind.
Thank you, thank you. Ms. Larson, do you have any updates for us over there in Teams land? All right, well, feel free to chime up if you need to. Yeah. Okay. We are, in the council, we are careening towards budget season. So those of you who are representing departments at this table, start getting those budgets ready, put in the SUD dollars, because we're heading towards that time. So we're gonna be making some big decisions. All right, the next meeting of this August body will be on July 19th, 2024. Mark it on your calendars. You will get an email from Molly Turner King begging you to attend to make quorum. It'll be right here in the Monroe County Courthouse. If you can't make it, please let us know so we can plan appropriately. And in the meantime, thank you all for all the work that you're doing for our community. It's making a difference. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.